right, ladies and gentlemen, how is it going tonight on this Wednesday, May 27th, 2020? Welcome to another metallic episode of Music of Destruction, bringing you the best in metal-related content right here on YouTube. Welcome to Album Ranking Wednesdays here on the channel. Yes, I know it's technically Thursday morning, but I didn't have time to get this out until now. And I hope you guys have been enjoying this series as well as all of my other series here on the channel as well. And hey, if you guys missed anything this week, click the eye in the upper right corner of the screen right now and get caught up on all of my latest content. So tonight, I'm very proud to be bringing you my Pantera albums ranked video. And the one thing I'm going to say before we even get into this here is Vinny and Dimebag, rest in peace, were one of the most legendary guitarists slash drummers on the planet. You know, you had Dimebag, Daryl Abbott on guitar, Vincent Paul Abbott on drums. And I mean, these two grew up together. Their dad was in the scene very early. And these kids formed Pantera in high school and made some really great records. However, when they acquired Phil Anselmo, they became one of the most legendary bands on the planet, in my opinion, after Phil joined, obviously. So the records I'm going to be ranking tonight are the post-glam era from Pantera from 1990 onward. Now, this is when, in my opinion, when the real Pantera emerged from the pop, glam, metal stuff they were making before 1990. Now, I will say that those albums aren't horrible, just aren't really my thing at all, but that's all right. So let's just get right into it here. Coming in at number 5, we have the legendary debut album Cowboys from Hell, released on Atco Records in 1990. And in 1990, there was nothing else out like this at the time. When the grunge scene was beginning to emerge from the underground, it would seem heavy metal was fucking dead. And I know you guys agree with that because, you know, you look at the 90s, early 90s, right? Heavy metal was on its way out for the most part. But these four maniacs brought it back to life with Dimebag's insanely groovy slash bluesy slash southern tinged Texas guitar work. I mean, that's what it sounds like to me. And, you know, Vinny's drumming, Phil's voice, and Rex's bass. This band would just shatter the earth with this debut album with tracks like Cemetery Gates, Cowboys from Hell, and Domination, like I said, all over this record. This album would become one of the most legendary debut albums of all time, in my humble opinion. Coming in at number 4, we have Vulgar, Display of Power, released in 1992. And the thought process behind this entire sophomore effort was, how can we make this heavier? How can we make it faster, more aggressive, angry, and venomous? Well, they sure as hell did it on Vulgar, Display of Power, with songs like Fucking Hostile, Walk, Mouth for War, and This Love, just to name a few. This would be one of the greatest sophomore records that a heavy metal band of this caliber could have put out in 1992. And Pantera proved to everybody that they were here to stay and not just a flash in the pan. And thank God for that, because this is one of the greatest sophomore efforts in my opinion. And they did a great job with this record, and it's a great follow-up for sure. Coming in at number 3 tonight, we have Reinventing the Steel, released in 2000 on EastWest Records. And unfortunately, this would become Pantera's swan song album. This would be the last record Pantera would ever make due to Dimebag Daryl being shot in 2004 while they were playing as Damage Plan. This would also be the album that split up the band. Now, what's really crazy, though, is they came back after the tragedies that beset the band after 1996's The Great Southern Trendkill. And what's crazy here is the band wasn't even sure if they were going to reunite for another album, but they did. And this record is killer, in my opinion. With tracks like Goddamn Electric, You've Got to Belong to It, Revolution Is My Name, and We'll Grind That Axe for Sure. You have a brutal groove metal masterpiece here that had a lot of that signature early Pantera work from their first 2 records, and I know a lot of people might disagree with that, and some people have said this is Pantera's worst album, and I honestly don't know where that comes from, because I fucking love it to death. Great album with Reinventing the Steel. Coming in at number 2, we've got Pantera's Far Beyond Driven, released in 1994 on Atco Records. the third album in Pantera's discography, with Phil Anselmo, of course. Now, how does this album hold up to the previous two efforts, in my opinion? Well, it's their second best album for me, for many, many reasons, and one of the most creative directions they took was on this album. Yes, it was still heavier than the previous Pantera albums, but they also weren't afraid to slow things down on certain songs to get a more somber, depressing atmosphere, with tracks like Hard Lines and Sunken Cheeks, and the cover of Planet Caravan, which was also written by Black Sabbath. They took a different direction here. They still had the brutally heavy stuff on this album, but I really like the approach they took on this record. Anyway, number 2, Far Beyond Driven. Coming in at number 1, we have the definitive Pantera album, in my opinion, with the great Southern Trendkill. From start to finish, this is an absolute beast of brutality, anger, rage, depression, and drug-fueled psychosis and addiction. And the album reflects so much of this through the painful, angry riffs from Dimebag, Vinny's powerful, fast drumming, Rex and his ominous, savagely deep, dark bass tones, and Phil's savage screams of rage, hate, and anger, and drug psychosis are all on full fucking display on this beast of a goddamn record. Tracks like the title track, The Great Southern Trendkill, Tens, Floods, War Nerve, Suicide Note Part 1 and 2. And man, there's just so much that's fucking good about this album, and it's the definitive Pantera record. It's brutal, it's dark, yet extremely rooted in that Southern blues, Texas metal / rock that they became famous for. But this is easily Pantera's most savage fucking album, and it's a whole other experience. If you've heard their other 4 records and you kind of skipped over The Great Southern Trendkill, please go back to it. It is the fucking Pantera album, in my opinion. At number 1, The Great Southern Trendkill. Great fucking album, man. And I hope you enjoyed this edition of Album Ranking Wednesdays. And hey, if you're new, subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss anything. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Just search Music of Destruction. Join the Facebook group for all things metal. Go to facebook.com/groups/Music of Destruction. If you run a band, you run a podcast or a metal YouTube channel, you run a label, you're a band manager, whatever it has to do with metal, we would love to have you. So come on in and hang out with us. If you'd like to support the channel and help keep it going, go to patreon.com/Music of Destruction. $5 patrons get access to my exclusive podcast, The Seed. Right now, episode number 21, The History of Motorhead Part 3, is up right now. I am working on coming up with a new series of podcasts for Patreon, which will begin rolling out on Sunday, May 31st. So thank you very much for your support. Shoutouts to Shadows of Death Records. Go to shadowsofdeathrecords.com. Check out his new band, Sight of Luna. Great avant-garde black metal from the Philippines. Pissing Razors and Texas Voodoo Stomp. They're always welcome to come back, and I know they will be coming back. Metal Benz Chronicles, Heavy Metal Networks, and King of Swords. All great metal YouTubers. Have yourselves an awesome night. We will see you tomorrow for Top 15 Thursdays. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye, everybody.